It kind of seems like the clock ticks faster the last half of August when parents and their students get in gear and get ready for school.
Well, healthy fast food's kind of an oxymoron, I mean, isn't it?
No, but tasty fast food is
there you
more
go.
like it. Just got to stay away from it. Two teenage boys are in custody after an overnight standoff in suburban Cicero. Protesters and promoters of the back-to-school boycott continue the fight to get the attention of Chicago public school students. I have to confess, you know, in the interest of full disclosure here, I've owned 3 Chihuahuas. Ed Curran proving that you are smarter than a 5th grader if you read the answers ahead of time, I guess. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety's new crash test results are out this morning, and it looks like small SUVs are getting safer. The skies have cleared up, at least for this picture. Right now, good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, August 19th, and I'm Vince Gerasole in today for Suzanne Lemonnier.
It was nice to actually see Michigan Avenue this time looking at it.
The fog was covering a little bit earlier, folks.
New at 5:30, construction gets underway today on Lakeshore Drive. Instead of potholes, drivers must now cope with cones.
Layoffs are coming, but Mayor Daley won't say how many city employees could lose their job. His public meeting to talk about a $400 million deficit.
And you know what? There's no more free food on some of United's flights to Europe now. What else is going to go?
I'm kind of glad some of that free food's gone, though. Didn't taste too good.
You need to eat. Good morning. It's 5:30 on Wednesday, August 20th. We have a live look at Lakeshore Drive there, and if you have had to drive it in recent months, you know it's just a little bit bumpy.
It was at the very beginning of the summer. It seemed like you were driving through a war zone.
Yeah.
Potholes.
You need your own personal shock absorbers.
They patched a lot of it. They're going to be patching a lot more, and that means a lot of us are going to be trying to find a way to drive around it.
And waiting a little bit
That's
in lines of traffic. I'm Kristen Hartman.
And I'm Vince Gerasole in this morning for Jim Williams. Before we talk a little bit more about Lakeshore Drive, let's check in with Ed Curran for a look at today's weather.
Good day out there.
Thanks, Ed. The time right now is 5:31, and get ready for some traffic headaches on Lakeshore Drive in the short term. But after that, it should be smooth sailing. CBS 2's Joni Lum is live along the lakefront with more on the upcoming reconstruction project there. Good morning, Joni. A 77-year-old man called a pillar of the Woodlawn community is fighting for his life this morning after someone set him on fire. It happened about 3 yesterday morning near 63rd and South Ellis Avenue. Someone doused Harlan Hayes with gasoline and threw a match at him. Hayes was burned over more than 85% of his body. Protesters and promoters of the back-to-school boycott continue the fight to get the attention of Chicago public school students. As CBS 2's Dorothy Tucker explains, there are new concerns about what happens to students who skip school. Boycott supporters say retired teachers and principals will be on hand to provide lessons during the walk. Thanks, Skip. Prices at the pump are falling, but gas still hasn't come down below $4 a gallon here in the Chicago area. AAA says that the price of regular unleaded gas across the state has gone down 29 cents this month. It's now an average of $3.92 per gallon. But in Cook County, it remains at $4.10. Prices are down statewide, but still about $1 higher than last year. On United, there is no such thing as a free meal in coach, and that's even when you're on an overseas flight now. It's becoming the first U.S. airline to do away with free food for passengers in coach on flights overseas. Starting on October 1st, if you want anything to eat, you'll have to buy it instead. United says this should help it cope with skyrocketing costs of fuel. You know, I still wonder, I guess you can still buy the food from them. It's not like you have to pack a lunch.
Yeah, it's probably when you book your ticket, they'll probably ask you, do you want a dinner?
Yeah. And some folks will say no. They'll get on the flight and they'll still be hungry. And I'm glad I'm not.
They'll bring a sandwich. They'll smuggle a sandwich.
It's getting harder for the flight attendants too because they have to say no to a lot of things. I kind of feel sorry for some of those folks.
It'll be a sunny day, but thunderstorms are back in Ed's forecast. That's next.
And then in Eye on Health, America's obesity epidemic appears to be getting worse than ever. We'd like to invite you to take a break from breakfast right now because this is not the most appetizing story. A man is suing a Chicago restaurant claiming that he got a 9-foot tapeworm after eating undercooked fish. Anthony France says that he became ill after eating salmon salad at Shaw's Crab House. France wants $100,000 in damages from Shaw's parent company, Let Us Entertain You Enterprises. The company says the tapeworm, this is why we told you you might need a strong stomach because we're showing you the tapeworm here right now. The company says the tapeworm did not come from Shaw's. Apparently it came from someplace because we were showing it to you right there. Not the most appetizing sight. Elsewhere in headlines this morning, drinking water is under the microscope after a new study found low levels of arsenic in drinking water could increase the risk of getting type 2 diabetes. Arsenic occurs naturally in water, but it's also a product of industrial pollution. Earlier research linked high levels of arsenic to diabetes. It appears to impact the body's production of insulin. If low levels of the chemical are linked to type 2 diabetes in future studies, there could be a move to increase standards for drinking water. Right now it's 5:46 and we're going to take a look at what's making news across America this morning. It's difficult to believe and even more disturbing to watch. An 85-year-old woman in New York was mugged in an elevator. The suspect apparently waited until the woman was about to get out before grabbing her from behind. He took her purse and hundreds of dollars. Fortunately, she was not seriously injured. At least keep that part in mind as you're watching this video. The suspect is believed to be responsible for other robberies in the area.
There was a celebrity sighting at Wrigley Field last night.
And when there's a celebrity sighting, who do we turn to but the celebrity sighter himself, Bill Zwecker?
Well, you know, sometimes
It reminds you of that scene in Back to the Future, remember? When Marty McFly starts saying, how do you I got to play some Chuck Berry or something.
There you go.
Everybody started grooving there.
Absolutely. So we'll see Jeff around town, obviously, for the next couple of months.
All right.
Yep, good
Thanks,
to see
Bill.
you.
Support for a school boycott in Chicago might not be as strong as some had hoped.
Just ahead, the controversy and what will happen to kids who skip school.
A new arrival at the Cleveland Zoo is scheduled to reach new heights.
A female Maasai giraffe was born Monday. She's meeting her public now.
Look at them
how
kissing
cute
there.
that
Oh, what an
is.
aw moment in the morning. Oh, save that video. It looks
I know,
cute.
that's very sweet.
Oh my goodness. Talk about, I'm sorry, I'm a sucker
You're
for those
gushing.
things. It looks so cute.
It's 5:57 coming up at 6. The greatest sports movies of all time. Which one was #1 and why some classics seem to rank so far down the list?
Dun, 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 dun. That's my favorite. Dun, dun, dun,
It
dun,
seems to,
dun,
well,
dun,
I'm not
dun,
going to give it away. That's my favorite right there.
Jerry Maguire?
Yeah, I love that film. Good morning. As we said, it is 6 o'clock on Wednesday, August 20th. I'm Kristen Hartman.
And I'm Vince Gerasole in today for Jim Williams. Let's check in on your weather forecast with Ed Curran. You drive Lakeshore Drive.
Beautiful day. Once in a while, I drive Lakeshore Drive. Yep. But 11:30 this morning, Vince and I will be out there starting our patching work.
Wow,
Little
I
side
didn't know
job
that
we're
you
doing
guys were-
starting
wow.
right
I'm
after
putting on
the
this
news.
sun protectant to make sure I don't get any sun.
That's very good. And you wear that big, broad-rimmed hat, you know, that brimmed hat that keeps the sun off you. That's very smart.
Attracts the ladies, too. You know? Nearly a week after his murder, veteran Chicago police detective Robert Soto was laid to rest. Hundreds of friends and family members said goodbye to the 23-year veteran of the force. A procession of police cars followed the hearse carrying Soto's body from the funeral home in Summit to Chicago's St. Francis of Assisi Church. Soto was shot while sitting in his SUV last Wednesday with Catherine Romberg. She died at the scene. Police charged 26-year-old Jason Austin with their murders. Chicago police are searching for the person who hung a noose outside a future Chicago police station. Someone found the noose Monday near a garage on South Loomis where the new Englewood District Station is being built. Investigators are not calling it a hate crime because there was no apparent target. We have something new for you this morning. Do you want to tell the world why Chicago's the best place to hold the 2016 Summer Olympics? Well, now you have the chance. A new online channel called Why Chicago is up and running, and it'll feature stories about Chicago told through the eyes of its people. You can post videos about your Chicago experiences or give the world an idea of what Chicago can bring to the games. That's one of the best things about living in Chicago is the pride everybody has for the city.
Yeah, I haven't run into a person here who doesn't like living here, at least in the summer.
Even in the winter, folks love it too. That's the great part. You love it all year round, don't you, Ed?
That's right. That's where I stayed here all my life.
Coming up, a new list of the top sports movies of all time, but we have some quibbles about how some classic
course
films
we
ended
do.
up with low rankings.
And for centuries to come, the Fonz will live on in bronze. Someone's a poet out there. In Milwaukee, it is 6:09.
For centuries to come. They might not even remember Happy Days and Centuries.
I don't think so.
But the
Unless
Fonz
Nick at
lives
Night
on.
continues. Yeah, the Fonz in bronze.
Thanks, Skip. The time right now is 6:16, and the Fonz will live forever, at least in Milwaukee. A bronze Fonz, kind of like the sound of that. The statue was unveiled yesterday to honor the iconic character from the classic TV show Happy Days. Actor Henry Winkler and most of the cast from the show appeared there too. Even Laverne and Shirley showed up. The statue was paid for in part by the TV Land Network. It's erected other monuments to classic TV characters, including one of Bob Newhart that was right here in Chicago. Sounds like he had fun.
Yeah.
He had a great time.
Not a boring time in the
Not a
hometown,
boring
no.
time, absolutely. Sang everywhere.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bill. Just ahead at 6:30, sobering news from Mayor Daley about how the city will have to cut because of a budget shortfall.
And then put the records on. More and more artists are releasing new material on vinyl. The time right now is 6:27. I still have vinyl, and so do you.
Yep.
But I got to
Thriller.
tell the kids what the vinyl is at home.
Yeah.
I wish I
Kids
still had a
these
lot
days
of my
just
old
don't-
vinyl, but it's all gone.
You got rid of it?
Yeah, years ago.
Oh my gosh. No, I saved everything.
Yeah, I wish I had.
I took it out of your trash can.
Yeah.
Yes, you're
Sold it on
so
eBay right now.
Right.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Vince Gerasole, in today for Jim Williams.
And I'm Kristen Hartman. Let's get over to Ed Curran here.
I've driven past it in a cab.
Russia says 64 soldiers have been killed so far in its conflict with Georgia. Some Russian tanks have reportedly left part of the Georgian capital of Gori, but the pullout is still progressing very slowly. And there's more violence today. Russian forces have reportedly taken about 20 Georgian troops prisoner in the western part of Georgia. The USA men's basketball team takes on Australia tonight after rolling over every other team in its path at the Summer Olympics. The Redeem team, as they're being called, is seeing huge fan support in China. They're destroying opponents by an average of 32 points a game. Every time they play in front of a sellout crowd, there's a sense that everybody wants them to win.
New records are made of heavier vinyl that's more durable, but it also improves the sound quality.
Okay, your first record, you were telling me earlier.
Def Leppard.
That's what you got, right?
Yeah, that was
I got
my
the
first
Carpenters. You might as well figure that. But I inherited a lot from my mom, all the Sinatra records that she had.
My mom was a big Motown fan, so.
Yeah. Well, we also had Sarah Vaughan, Dinah Washington. We were in the musical gene. Ed was talking about how much he wanted to hear us sing earlier. Maybe we'll sing a little for you, Ed, a little bit later on. But up next, first we have to say how some smaller SUVs performed in the latest crash tests. Now for a look at what's happening on Wall Street today, let's go to CBS 2's Claire Leka in New York. Good morning, Claire. It's good to see you.
Good morning to you, Vince. Good.
Thanks a lot, Claire.
His friends are all finding him now, huh?
Yeah, I wish I was his friend.
Yeah. Nice dinner.
Coming up, the Cubs and the YMCA team up to build a field of dreams for youth baseball players on Chicago's northwest side. Thanks, Skip. It is now 6:54 and time for a look at what's coming up today on the Early Show.
Here's a sneak peek from Russ Mitchell. Hi, Russ.
Hey, Kristen, good morning to you. Good morning, Vince. Coming up in the Early Show. Colin Hanks looks just like his dad, Tom Hanks. Spitting image, they say.
How about that?
Might help him
Sounds
with
good.
his career. You think he needs any additional help?
think so?
I don't
Probably
know.
not.
Let me think about it. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
a lot,
Russ.
Russ. The spirit of the friendly confines is moving west. Little leaguers in the city's Humboldt Park neighborhood are getting a new place to play thanks to the Chicago Cubs. A groundbreaking ceremony for the new Little Cubs field will be held at noon today. Cubs All-Stars Carlos Zambrano and Giovanni Soto will be there to greet the fans. The YMCA and the Cubs teamed up to raise more than $2 million to build a brand new ball field there.
That'll be exciting for all those kids.
It should be. Okay, listen up to this one here. A Chicago couple hears a lot of comments and questions about their cat.
Her name is Yoda. You see her there.
I was reading about them too. Apparently these look like ears, but there's no hearing mechanism in them. They're just sort of like
kind of a growth
extra
thing.
flaps.
Yeah. Interesting.
The better to hear you with, my dear. Tomorrow night, and then chance rain both Friday and Saturday.
Just in time for the weekend. But we can't complain. We've had great weather. Thanks for joining us this morning.
We'll see you back at 11.